There is a lot going on in politics, in the economy right now, and of course in the stock market. And so I'm here to talk to you about what's happening in the Denver housing market and the impact that some of these incredibly huge economic and political changes might be having on what's going on here in Denver. I'm Heather O'Leary, your Colorado homegirl. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments or, of course, DM me because I would love to be here to help you making all your decisions about how to make a move here in Denver, or if you're coming to Denver, it's amazing here. Okay, so let's dive right into it. Tariffs are the big news of the day, of course, of the week, month. There's a lot going on. And so while I'm not going to get into the politics of it, I want to talk about what could happen on the economic front. So, of course, the increase in costs to the manufacturers in other countries, China potentially, could lead to increasing prices, and that could potentially disrupt supply chains and actually be passed on to consumers. And that might be in the form of inflation. And inflation in and of itself is something that the Fed has been trying to fight for quite some time, right? They've been fighting inflation by increasing interest rates. And so we have historically high mortgage interest rates for the past 15 years. Now, when I say historically high, I don't mean forever. And I'll show you my graph here. If we do go into a recession, I want you to notice we are just right here at the edge of the graph, kind of right in the middle of where interest rates have been. However, in all of the past recessions, the Fed has chosen to decrease interest rates in order to boost the housing market. And this is important because if we do go into a recession, which that is not fantastic for the majority of the economy and, of course, our 401ks. However, the silver lining is that in recessions, housing tends to do much better. Now, we all have it in our minds what happened in 2008. Now, 2008 was caused by the housing crisis and inappropriate lending practices. So, of course, in 2008, we did see huge, drastic decline in home prices. However, home prices tend to actually increase during a recession. So if we were to go into recession, it's possible that we might see a decrease in interest rates to boost the housing market, and that could see price appreciation. Now, I don't know what's actually going to happen on that front, nor do I know what will happen politically, but I want to tell you what's happening in Denver right now because it's actually very significant. We have a lot of supply. So this is for the past 15 years, and I'm sorry, this is for the past 20 years. So you'll notice these years right in the middle here, those are the COVID years when supply was incredibly tight because we were all locked down and interest rates were very, very high. And so lots of people were purchasing properties and there wasn't enough inventory. And what you can see is happening right now to the far right side of your graph is that we're seeing a lot more inventory hop into the market, which feels kind of like a flood to my sellers especially. But if you look historically, we don't have quite as much as we did in the housing crisis, not even close. And we do have significantly more than we did in kind of those normal 2013 to 2019 years. And I want to show you why that's significant because prices are definitely doing something here. So this graph is the Denver Metro price of homes sold over the past 10 years. And I'm sorry, this one is the past 5 years. And what you'll kind of notice is we saw a huge jump right there in 2020, 2021 in the spring months. And it's kind of flatlined a little bit here. And that's very atypical for our market. Usually we see the majority of price appreciation happen in the spring months. I really like this graph also, and I'll take a second to explain it. Basically, it's showing how prices appreciate or depreciate month over month. And the black lines are the kind of average seller's market 2013 to 2019. But 2024 is in blue. And I don't have one of these for 2025, and I'm going to make one or ask my friend Megan Eller to make it again, because she stopped making this graph because these years right now are such an anomaly. But this kind of shows how we usually increase. And this month specifically, we had zero price appreciation, both month over month and year over year. And that is huge. And it kind of shows that we are seeing what I would consider a stabilization in prices. I mean, we can't have, let me show it again. I'm going to show this graph again. We can't have these crazy huge jumps in home prices, or nobody will be able to afford anything, right? Now, people would already tell you right now that prices are pretty through the roof in Denver, and it's, getting very expensive, but it's always in comparison, right? In comparison to where? To the Midwest? Yeah, that's probably true. You'll probably have sticker shock if you're coming from Kansas or Illinois or something like that. But don't worry, I can help you get into something that has a little bit of land, and you'll be all right if you're coming from there. But the point is, and I digress, we didn't see the price appreciation that we would normally expect. So I believe that the market is actually adjusting to this kind of increased supply. And so this provides opportunities. And I'm going to go through on my next live and show you all about the opportunities in seller concessions, in how to get rate buy downs. That means like buying down your interest rate so your payment is a lot lower, and how to get closing costs paid for, because this is the market of opportunity. And I don't know who said this quote, but when things are on a discount is when you're supposed to buy. You're supposed to buy when everybody else has a ton of fear. And that's kind of what's happening. I don't know if you've been talking to people or watching the news, but that's what's happening. There's a lot of fear. And there's also a very large discount going on in both the housing market as well as the stock market. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm in real estate, but what I would tell you is that I can get you really good deals right now, and we have more inventory than we've had for the past 15 years. Okay, if you're a seller, and I have like 10 of you that I'm working with right now, I just love you and I love helping you. And also, we can't be greedy about what we are pricing your property for, right? You have to be very reasonable about it. You have to take into account the condition of the property, because people really want turnkey homes. They don't want to go buy, a property that's already at the top of their budget and then also have to drop all kinds of money in to update the kitchen. Now, if you're not updated, that's okay. We'll just need to price it appropriately so that a buyer feels like they're getting a great deal on the home. And frankly, I'm going to go back. If you've owned a home during any of this time, you have seen huge price appreciation. And that means that you have a ton of equity that you're sitting on right now, which is fantastic. Homeowners right now have the ability to cash in on their equity and make choices with that, whether it's buying their next home or using a HELOC to help them improve their current home, or a cash out refi to help them, pay off some debt. Let me know if you need lenders who can help you with some of those. There's also renovation loans that can help you. But sellers, people who are interested in selling, have a ton of equity. And are you chained to your interest rate? I have another video on that. Maybe you just really want to keep your payment low, or maybe you've made really good decisions and you're able to make a move into something that's more comfortable for you. So either way, whether you are looking at buying or selling, or you just want to have a debate about tariffs in the comments below, that's fine with me too. I'm Heather O'Leary, and I would love to chat with you. Have a good one.